My name's John Miller, and I've lived in Beebe, Arkansas, all my 42 years. This is a quiet place, couple of churches, a diner, fields stretching out forever. Nothing much happens here, or at least, it didn't until that New Year's Eve in 2011. That night changed everything. When thousands of blackbirds rained down from the sky, I thought I was in some kind of horror movie. But the real nightmare came afterward, when we had to deal with what it left behind. It was about 10:30 p.m., and I was out on the porch, sneaking a cigarette. Margie, my wife, was inside setting up her famous potato salad for our little New Year's party. The kids were asleep upstairs. The sky was clear, stars shining bright, but there was this restless wind, like a storm was brewing. I didn't think much of it. Weather forecasts hadn't mentioned anything wild. Then I heard it, a rustling sound, like leaves blowing, but louder, stranger. Before I could figure it out, something dark thudded onto the lawn a few feet away. I shone my phone's flashlight and nearly dropped my cigarette. It was a blackbird, dead, wings splayed, eyes glassy. Then another fell, and another. Within seconds, dozens were dropping onto the roof, the car, the neighbor's fence. Thump, thump, thump. That sound still haunts me. I yelled for Margie, and she ran out in her bathrobe. We just stood there, frozen. Neighbors started spilling out of their houses. Mrs. Clark from down the street was screaming about the apocalypse, while her husband, Bill, muttered something about fireworks scaring the birds. But it wasn't stopping. For 20 minutes, birds kept falling, blanketing our little town. The smell hit us next, sharp, metallic, like blood and wet feathers. We ran inside, locked the windows, and tried to keep the kids calm. I flipped on the local news, but they didn't have anything yet. Just silence and that awful smell seeping through the cracks. Morning came, and Beebe looked like a war zone. The streets, yards, even the school playground were covered in dead blackbirds. I stepped onto the porch and counted at least 10 right by our door, like someone had scattered them on purpose. My buddy Bob, who works at City Hall, later told me they collected over 5,000 birds, more than a ton of them. City workers in hazmat suits, like something out of a sci-fi movie, went door to door, scooping up carcasses with shovels and piling them into trash bags. Windwood Drive, our street, was barely passable, the asphalt slick with blood and feathers. Some birds, they said, were still twitching, but they got swept up all the same. By the next day, the media descended. First, it was the Little Rock news crews, then CNN, BBC. The whole world wanted a piece of Beebe. They filmed our houses, our streets, even climbed onto roofs to show the scale of it. I remember thinking, well, Beebe's famous now, but not for anything good. The town split in two. Some folks were terrified it was poison or a virus, keeping their kids indoors, while others, like our neighbor Frank, cracked jokes about aliens. Nobody knew what to believe. The city banned fireworks immediately, figuring the birds got spooked by the noise and crashed into houses, trees, or power lines in the dark. Scientists from the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission took dozens of birds for tests and came back saying it was blunt force trauma. The birds just panicked and flew into things. But I was there. The sky was clear. No storm, no lightning. Fireworks? Sure, we had some at the town square, but that was nothing new. And then we heard about a tornado that same night, 100 miles away, that killed 7 people. Coincidence? Maybe, but it gave me chills. The aftermath dragged on. For weeks, Beebe was a ghost town. Tourists, who'd usually come for the lakes or hiking trails, stayed away. Margie's diner took a big hit. Nobody wanted to eat where dead birds had been. Kids at school wouldn't stop talking about the bird rain, and teachers said some of the younger ones were scared to go outside. Folks started showing up to church more, especially the older crowd. Our pastor gave a whole sermon about it being a sign from above, though he didn't say what kind. I think he was as lost as the rest of us. Then, in 2012, it happened again. Not as bad, maybe a couple hundred birds, but enough to make your heart race. The city slapped an emergency ban on fireworks, and police patrolled to make sure nobody set off so much as a sparkler. I remember thinking, is this gonna be our life now? Every New Year's, waiting for birds to drop? Thank God it hasn't happened since. but the fear stuck. Margie and I still close the shutters every New Year's Eve, and I catch myself glancing at the sky, half expecting it to start again. Slowly, Beebe tried to move on. About a year later, the town decided to lean into the weirdness. They started an annual falling blackbird run. Yeah, sounds morbid, but it's a thing now. They print t-shirts with an upside-down blackbird, and tourists eat it up. It's like we turned a nightmare into a quirky badge of honor. But for those of us who were there, it's not just a story. I still flinch when I see a bird on the ground, and I can't shake the question, what really happened that night? Was it just nature gone haywire? Or something we'll never understand?